those are the something on one of those sites is what's going to be presented to the voters at town meeting in
That's correct.
April or March?
That's correct.
What's the price tag?
Well, we don't have a definitive figure just yet. The architects are still doing it because we were slow in determining what we wanted to build, for what grades and how many square feet. And until you know the answers to those three things, getting a figure is difficult.
Right.
I can tell you that I would estimate it will be between $30 and $40 million. That's the estimates, but I caution anybody and have cautioned others not to
Hang your hat on it.
hang your hat on a figure until we get something from the architects.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, then what about future? Sort of looking out a little further into on this one plan, on these plans, for example, there's the something on the back of the middle school.
This is part of the plan, not only to build a grade 3 through 5, but to
for now.
For now.
Yeah.
That's the plan for now, and I'm not sure if we can connect to this building. We like the idea of connecting it, but when you connect, sometimes you trip building codes that you have to meet, and the price tag can go up significantly. I think the bigger question is, in 15 to 20 years, if the growth continues as it is, will we be looking at either a new middle school or a new high school? Because you could turn the entire high school, middle school into a high school, and then have to build a new 6 through 8 middle school, which would be cheaper construction than building a new high school.
Right.
So I do think we've talked about that in terms of the site planning. As we look to future growth, it will become harder and harder to maintain the campus unless we have space nearby for fields or space nearby to build.
What are you planning for here?
Right now, we have the football field, which is oriented a little bit more this way, and a baseball field here. We'd like to move the baseball field over to Bacchus Lane. This has always been a bad site.
Do the schools own this land?
The town owns that land.
All right.
And again, the deed restrictions are for the purpose of athletics.
Okay.
The baseball field is sort of right here now, and anybody who's parked near a baseball game knows that they're in harm's way. So if we could move the baseball field over to the Bacchus Lane fields and build, the idea is to build a new football, soccer field, artificial turf with a nice track, which we believe will serve the entire community. And then maybe another field hockey and lacrosse field next to it. We had this plan 4 or 5 years ago, and we were moving forward with it, but when enrollment became our concern, it was hard to justify moving forward on athletic fields when we didn't have enough classroom space for children.
So I assume that over the next few months, as the plans gel, you're going to start having information sessions for the community?
We have a sort of outreach and marketing subcommittee with probably 5 or 6 subcommittees, one on website, video production that we're doing. We have the shows that will go out for the large group, Rotary, all of those, and then into neighborhoods, as we need to get the message out. Social media is a way to get the message out today, and that's important to us as well. When you have a 2/3 vote, that means every no vote you have to counter with 2 yeses.
That's right.
So it's a significant, and I think while most in the community accept that it's absolutely necessary. You still have to convince a 2/3 majority to vote for it.
Right. Well, it sounds like you've got things well in hand, up to this point at least, and you're well organized, and maybe your past experience in building schools has been useful.
Well, I think maybe a little bit, but I would really share my thanks and kudos to the building committee.
Who's the head of that?
Well, we have Diane O'Neill, who's the director of facilities, and I really are leading it. But we have a group of people, many longtime Nantucketers who understand traffic, who understand the demographics and the needs of the community, combined with many people, young parents. And we have some senior citizens on the committee, so it's a pretty broad representation, I think, of all the constituencies.
Good. Just one last question. In terms of this whole plan, my recollection is that the last time some improvement to the intersection of Sparks and Surfside Road came up, there was some resistance from the school committee to that. Is something in that along those lines part of your overall plan here or not?
Well, I think there are two things that enter into that. One is the possibility of a rotary at Bartlett, which is close to the elementary school entrance. So we have talked quite a bit about that and the implications that might have. Would we want to move the driveway? Is that necessary? And then as for Sparks, and I wasn't here during that controversy, I think the idea is maybe to have an access road behind the schools and fields that would alleviate some of that at Sparks. So we have Mike Burns on the building committee, and certainly his expertise, Andrew Vorse. We have some good people who understand the implications for travel patterns on Nantucket.
Good. Well, good luck with that. And
Thank you.
Keep in touch as the plans progress.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Dan.